Welcome to the History in Focus channel. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this one. Since 1907, the Cadbrosaurus, a sea creature described as a mix between a serpent and a dragon, has remained one of the greatest enigmas in cryptozoology. 9 fishermen claim to have captured it and presented a photograph that divided scientists and skeptics. Some believe it to be an elaborate hoax, while others argue it could represent an undiscovered species. To this day, the image remains unexplained, keeping the legend alive in the icy, cold waters of the Pacific. An old photograph shows soldiers posing beside what appears to be a huge, winged reptile, resembling a pterodactyl supposedly captured during the American Civil War. The image has circulated for decades, sparking debates about its authenticity. Some claim it is an old photomontage, while others insist the picture is too realistic to be fake. No version has been proven, and the origin of the mysterious creature remains unexplained. In a quiet countryside field, the calm landscape was interrupted by a dark silhouette emerging at the edge of the forest. The farmer who took the photo noticed the shadow standing near the barn and decided to capture the moment. When the image was enlarged, a tall, upright figure could be seen, difficult to identify. Some say it is only a shadow. Others believe it may be proof of the legendary Bigfoot. The mystery remains unanswered. During the Apollo 14 mission, one photograph taken on the lunar surface revealed a strange blue light glowing far in the distance, in an area where no light source should exist. Similar images captured the same phenomenon elsewhere. To some, it is merely lens flare. To others, it is evidence of hidden elements within lunar missions. No official explanation has ever been given, and the mysterious lights remain unanswered. In the frozen Arctic in 1971, military cameras captured something that no one could explain: flying objects of geometric shape crossing the white horizon. The photos, showing detailed metallic structures, defied all later analysis. No official statement was ever released, and the images continue to raise questions, whether they were secret experiments, impossible reflections, or something not of this world. In recent years, strange black rings have appeared in the skies above fields and cities worldwide, forming perfect circles of smoke that linger for minutes before fading away. Witnesses describe them as silent and symmetrical, unlike any known weather phenomenon. Although some scientists suggest electrical explosions or industrial malfunctions, no definitive explanation has been confirmed, and the mysterious rings continue to defy logic. In the Mapimi Desert of northern Mexico lies a mysterious region known as the Zone of Silence, where radio transmissions and communication signals simply vanish. Travelers report compasses spinning uncontrollably, equipment failures, and sounds coming from nowhere. Even rockets have inexplicably veered off course over the area. No definitive explanation has ever been found, and the desert remains cloaked in tales of magnetic anomalies and phenomena without answers. A luminous object crossing the sky was seen simultaneously in Brazil and Argentina, baffling residents and experts alike. The body appeared aflame and moved slowly, leaving a bright trail before vanishing. The images, later analyzed, showed no signs of digital alteration. Many astronomers suggest it may have been a comet or a piece of space debris, yet no definitive explanation has ever been confirmed for the mysterious phenomenon. Genetic studies revealed that the Denisovans, ancient relatives of the Neanderthals discovered in Siberian caves, carry traces of an until unknown human lineage. Analysis of their DNA showed evidence of interbreeding with a mysterious species about 30,000 years ago, distinct from any identified before. Fossils also revealed unusually shaped teeth, unlike those of modern humans or known ancestors, suggesting the existence of a lost branch in our evolutionary story. Deep beneath the waters of Yonaguni Island in Japan, divers in 1986 found a massive stone structure with stairways, terraces, and corridors that seem hand-carved. Known as the submerged city of Yonaguni, the site divides experts. Some see natural formations shaped by marine currents, while others believe they are ruins of a lost civilization. No definitive proof has been found, leaving the mystery to endure in the heart of the Pacific. In the vast desert between Syria and Saudi Arabia, stone circles known as the Wheel of Kola form patterns visible only from above. Discovered in 1920 with the rise of aviation, these mysterious structures are over 2,000 years old and stretch for miles. From the ground they appear as mere piles of rocks, yet from the air they reveal intricate, precise designs. No one knows who built them or why, making them as enigmatic as the Nazca lines. During excavations in 2013, archaeologists in Egypt found an ancient stone stele engraved with a spider surrounded by lines and mysterious symbols. Dated to about 6,000 years ago, the artifact predates Egyptian civilization itself. Dr. Heather Lynn, a researcher in alternative archaeology, proposed that the carving represents not an animal, but the stellar system of Sirius. No official explanation has been confirmed, leaving the discovery wrapped in mystery. In the mountains of New Zealand, an archaeological expedition made a stunning discovery. A moa's foot, perfectly preserved, still covered with skin and muscle. These giant birds, which could exceed 10 feet in height, became extinct in the 14th century, hunted by the island's first inhabitants. The preservation of the specimen suggests the site remained untouched for centuries, reigniting fascination with one of the most imposing creatures ever to roam the island. In the stormy waters of the Scilly Isles, in Great Britain, the steamship Arden Craig vanished amid thick fog in 1911. Shortly after, fragments were seen floating among the rocks, but the crew had disappeared. No distress call was recorded, and no bodies were ever found. To this day, divers report metallic sounds rising from the depths, where the vessel rests like a ghost trapped in the silence of the Atlantic. In the 21st century, three-dimensional scanning technologies revealed the inner mechanisms of the Antikythera device, a set of gears and inscriptions functioning as an analog computer created before Christ. It calculated celestial positions, lunar phases, planetary motion, and eclipses. Cited by ancient authors, it remains the only known example of its kind, and its technology was lost with the end of the Roman era. Deep between the Peloponnese and Crete, a ship sank around 87 years before Christ, scattering amphorae, statues, and precious artifacts across the seabed. More than 2,000 years later, in 1900, sponge divers discovered the site and retrieved a bronze artifact covered with deposits. The enigmatic Antikythera mechanism. Composed of dozens of intricate gears, it revealed itself as a complex astronomical calculator capable of predicting eclipses and planetary motion with astonishing precision. Off the coast of Nova Scotia, in the cold waters of the Atlantic, Ken Fraser fought an epic battle with a giant bluefin tuna. Using a mackerel as bait, he needed only 45 minutes to land the fish in October 1979. Weighing more than 1,400 pounds, the catch earned Fraser the world record for the largest bluefin tuna ever caught. Decades later, his capture remains one of the most legendary feats in sport fishing history. After the end of World War I, a group of officers posed silently in an empty field to honor the horses that died in combat. These animals were vital for carrying supplies, the wounded, and artillery under enemy fire. The simple yet moving photograph symbolizes respect for the countless equine lives lost on battlefields, creatures that fought and fell beside their human riders. In an impressive display of discipline, a group of German Shepherd police dogs was photographed remaining perfectly still while a small cat calmly sat in front of them. The exercise, used in training, tested the animal's self-control and obedience. Despite the feline provocation, none of the dogs moved. The image, both tense and oddly peaceful, reveals the extraordinary focus and loyalty of these service companions. H.L. Bowden appears in this photograph wearing the deep-sea diving suit he invented himself. Designed to withstand the immense pressure of ocean depths, The equipment featured a reinforced metal helmet and connections allowing continuous airflow and communication. Created in the early 20th century, the suit represented a major advancement in underwater exploration, enabling longer and safer dives into realms once unreachable to humankind. The image, known as the Hubble Ultra Deep Field, was obtained by the Hubble Space Telescope in the year 2012. It shows a tiny region of the sky, equivalent to the size of a pinhead seen from a distance, containing about 10,000 galaxies. Each bright spot represents billions of stars. To record the scene, the telescope remained pointed at the same location for 11 days, capturing light from galaxies located more than 12 billion light-years from Earth. Two visitors photographed the St. Augustine Lighthouse in Florida on a sunny afternoon without noticing anything unusual. Later, when viewing the pictures, they saw the figure of a person standing on the upper walkway where no one had been present. Built in the 19th century, the lighthouse was the site of fatal accidents involving keepers and children, becoming known for reports of apparitions and unexplained sounds during the night. In the year 1941, a researcher was photographed while attempting to hypnotize a chimpanzee during a telepathy experiment in a European laboratory. The test sought to determine whether animals could react to mental commands or enter a trance induced solely by eye contact. Although no scientific evidence confirmed such results, the episode represents one of the most curious attempts of the time to explore communication between the human and animal mind through psychic means. In the year 1939 at the Los Angeles Zoo, the elephant Billy was euthanized after becoming aggressive and unpredictable with age. The decision was made by the keepers following several incidents that endangered staff and visitors. At the time, containment methods were limited, and euthanasia was considered the only safe solution. The case sparked public debate about animal management and welfare in captivity. Known as ball lightning, this rare phenomenon appears as a glowing sphere that emerges during thunderstorms, moving unpredictably before disappearing. Reports of it have existed for centuries in different parts of the world, describing bright orbs floating silently. Despite scientific efforts to reproduce it in laboratories, there is no consensus on its origin, nature, or composition, making it one of the most intriguing atmospheric mysteries. In the frozen mountains of the Urals, an expedition of students ended in one of the century's greatest mysteries. Their tents were found torn open from the inside, as if they had fled from something unseen. The bodies, scattered across the snow, were mutilated, and some emitted abnormal levels of radiation. No signs of struggle were found. The event, known as the Dyatlov Pass incident, still defies all scientific explanation and human logic. The ship Carroll A. Deering appeared adrift off the coast of North Carolina in the year 1921, silently approaching the harbor. No crew members were found, although food was still set out and the helm broken. All personal belongings had vanished, as had the lifeboats and the logbook. Decades later, science and naval investigations have still failed to offer a plausible explanation for the disappearance of the crew. Called the Black Knight satellite, the mysterious object was first recorded in the year 1960, orbiting Earth. Its metallic and irregular structure does not match any known satellite. Several later observations confirmed its constant presence, yet no agency claimed responsibility for its launch. To this day, science has been unable to explain whether it is space debris, lost technology, or something beyond human understanding. Recorded in the year 1966 by Reverend Ralph Hardy during a visit to the Maritime Museum in Greenwich, England, the image shows a translucent figure ascending the famous Tulip Staircase. The negative was analyzed by Kodak and by experts from the Ghost Club, showing no signs of manipulation. The figure appears to grasp the handrail with both hands, though no one was present. Decades later, science still cannot explain the origin of this apparition. The staircase of the Loreto Chapel in Santa Fe, New Mexico, is considered an architectural mystery. Built by an unknown man after the nuns prayed for help, the structure was completed in 2 months, and the carpenter disappeared without leaving a trace. The staircase has no visible supports, nails, or columns, and makes 2 complete 360-degree turns. To this day, science has not been able to explain how it remains firm and functional. In 1919, a group of soldiers posed for a photograph shortly after the end of World War I. When the image was developed, a dark face appeared among them, identified as that of Freddie Jackson, a comrade who had died 2 days earlier in an airplane propeller accident. The photographer insisted there had been no manipulation. The photo was widely analyzed, but science has never been able to explain the appearance of the deceased soldier in the original image. While sailing along the coast of Queensland, Australia, the French photographer Robert Sarek captured an immense, elongated shape resting on the ocean floor, resembling a sea serpent. The figure appeared real and was visible to the naked eye, sparking curiosity among witnesses. Several later analyses failed to identify the object. The strange photograph was taken in 1964 and remains without a proven explanation to this day. Amid the silent mountains of Hessdalen Valley in Norway, white and yellowish lights suddenly appear in the sky, moving as if under some form of control. The phenomenon has been observed since the 1940s and at certain times was seen dozens of times per week. Theories range from ionized gases to electromagnetic emissions, yet none explain how these lights seem to act with a purpose of their own. From the Mekong River between Thailand and Laos, glowing red spheres rise in complete silence and vanish into the air. The phenomenon, known as Naga fireballs, has been witnessed by thousands of people and remains unexplained. Tests have attempted to prove they are caused by burning gases, but none have been convincing. The lights seem to appear intelligently, as if something releases them from the depths of the river. Even before the satellite era, a strange object was detected orbiting Earth in 1960. It showed no signs of human origin and seemed to move independently, as if it had its own trajectory. After its discovery, similar records appeared and disappeared without a trace. No government or space agency has claimed ownership, and to this day, no one knows what was actually circling the planet that year. During the Apollo 17 mission, a photograph of the lunar surface was initially deemed worthless, just a white frame. But when technicians adjusted the contrast, they discovered something unexpected: a perfectly shaped structure resembling a pyramid standing beside the geophone rock. No previous record had shown anything like it. The file was quietly analyzed, and whatever was captured in that image remains one of the strangest mysteries of the mission. Under the deep waters of the Bermuda Triangle, oceanographer Dr. Meyer Verlag claimed to have identified 2 pyramid-shaped structures about 6,600 feet below the surface through sonar scans. The formations displayed unusual symmetry and smooth surfaces, incompatible with known natural formations. No later study confirmed the discovery, and the alleged find remains surrounded by silence and speculation to this day. During a space scan in 1977, Ohio State University's Big Ear radio telescope detected an extremely strong and unusual radio signal coming from space. Astronomer Jerry Amon, surprised, marked the record with the word "wow," which gave the event its name. The signal was never repeated, and its origin remains unknown. Some modern astronomers suggest it may have come from an interstellar object passing through the solar system, but nothing has been proven. In Sarasota, Florida, a woman sent 2 photographs to the sheriff's department showing a strange creature in her backyard, claiming it appeared at night to steal apples. The figure resembled the legendary skunk ape, also known as the Florida Bigfoot, described as tall, hairy, and foul-smelling. Similar cases have been reported since the 1960s. Although the government considers it a likely hoax, no evidence has confirmed the falsification. During the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963, almost everyone present ducked in panic as the shots echoed through Dallas. However, in several photos, a mysterious woman appears standing, holding a camera and recording the scene. She became known as Lady Babushka for the scarf on her head. The FBI tried to locate this woman and her possible photographs, but her identity and the negatives were never found. On a remote island in Western Australia, Lake Hillier draws attention for its naturally pink waters, contrasting sharply with the blue of the nearby ocean. The vivid coloration results from the combination of algae, archaea, and microscopic crustaceans that produce pigments such as beta-carotene. Even after decades of study, the phenomenon continues to intrigue researchers, as the intensity of the pink hue remains constant despite changes in light and temperature. Captured by the Curiosity rover during its mission on Mars, this image shows a bright light appearing on the horizon of a Martian valley. The photograph was transmitted to Earth among a sequence of regular shots, but this anomaly caught NASA researchers' attention. No conclusive explanation has been found for the source of the light. Some suggest reflections or energetic particles, but the possibility of an unknown origin still intrigues scientists to this day. During a quiet afternoon in a rural church, a woman was photographed praying alone. However, when the image was developed, a pale, translucent figure appeared seated right behind her, where no one had been seen. The local priest claimed the shape resembled the spirit of an ancient healer associated with the parish centuries earlier. The photograph was examined, and no explanation was ever given for the presence of that human-like form among the pews. Among the crowd gathered for the opening of the South Fork Bridge in Canada, one man stands out intriguingly. Wearing modern sunglasses, a printed shirt, and holding a portable camera unlike any of that era, he appears out of place in time. Everyone around him wears typical 1940s clothing, but his appearance completely contrasts with theirs. The photograph was analyzed and deemed authentic, yet no one has ever identified the mysterious man. In the heart of the Karakum Desert in Turkmenistan, a Soviet drilling operation in 1971 accidentally opened a crater that released a massive amount of methane. To contain the toxic gas, geologists decided to ignite it, believing the fire would extinguish in a few days. But the flames never stopped. The enormous pit, over 230 feet wide and 100 feet deep, has burned for more than 50 years, lighting the desert like a flaming portal, now known as the Door to Hell. In a microscopy competition, one of the winning images revealed the intricate interior of a tardigrade, one of the smallest and most resilient organisms on Earth. The photo, captured by Tagida de Carvalho from the University of Maryland, used fluorescent dyes to highlight invisible structures such as the mouth and food-filled stomach. Normally colorless, the microorganism appeared luminous, revealing a surprising level of complexity under the microscope. The origin of the mysterious stinging water, which causes burning sensations in swimmers of tropical lagoons, was finally identified. The phenomenon comes from the upside-down jellyfish, Cassiopeia zamachana, which rests on the seabed and releases a dense mucus full of tiny spinning spheres. These spheres, observed under a microscope, are coated with stinging cells that inject venom upon contact, causing a burning sensation even without direct contact with the jellyfish. Among the strangest organisms ever identified, the microscopic parasite Heneguia salmonicola defies biology by living without breathing oxygen. Resembling small bluish forms with glowing eyes, it inhabits fish and worms, causing the so-called tapioca disease in salmon. When scientists analyzed its genome, they discovered the parasite had completely lost all genes responsible for respiration, making it the first known animal to survive without using oxygen. Long before the first complex forms of life, rangeomorphs dominated the oceans more than 600 million years ago. These organisms had no mouths, intestines, or reproductive organs, yet they survived, connected by thin filaments stretching for yards across the sea floor. This structure formed a kind of natural network, allowing the exchange of nutrients and possibly asexual reproduction. Discoveries in Canadian fossils reveal what might have been Earth's first social network. During renovations in an ancient church in Folkestone, United Kingdom, workers discovered in 1885 a set of bones hidden inside a wall. Recent studies confirmed that they belonged to St. Eanswythe, granddaughter of King Ethelbert of Kent and one of England's first saints. She died young around the 7th century, and her remains were concealed centuries later to protect them from destruction during the Protestant Reformation. The discovery revealed a rare link to early British Christianity. Researchers identified a bee whose body was divided between both sexes. The left side showed male characteristics, while the right side was female. The larger mandible and forward-facing antenna indicated the female side, while the opposite side had typical male traits. This rare condition, known as gynandromorphism, has been observed in certain birds, insects, crustaceans, and snakes, but remains one of nature's most unusual biological phenomena. While walking on her farm in McMinnville, Oregon, Evelyn Trent captured a metallic, disc-shaped object hovering in the sky. The photo, taken in 1950, became one of the most famous images in global ufology. The negative was examined by experts and showed no signs of manipulation. The object was never identified, and the record remains one of the most intriguing UFO sightings in the history of the United States. During excavations in the 1950s, archaeologists in China reported finding a tiny Swiss watch inside a sealed Ming Dynasty tomb that had been closed for over 4 centuries. The object, resembling a ring, showed the time as 10 o'clock and 6 minutes and bore the word Swiss engraved. No plausible explanation was ever given for how the modern artifact ended up there. The discovery was widely questioned, but the mystery was never fully solved. Among the most intriguing lunar images ever taken, one displays a pyramid-shaped structure rising from the barren and silent terrain. The surrounding landscape is flat, and no shadow or optical illusion justifies its defined lines. Scientists tried to attribute the shape to lighting effects, but failed to replicate it. The photograph remains without a concrete explanation, raising questions about what might truly exist on the surface of the moon. In the arid desert of southern Peru, enormous figures known as the Nazca lines form precise designs visible only from above. Created between 500 years before Christ and 500 years after Christ by the Nazca culture, they depict animals, geometric forms, and perfectly traced pathways across the sand. Their dimensions and symmetry still amaze experts. Archaeologists suggest ritual or astronomical functions, while others propose bolder theories. No definitive explanation has ever been proven. During an expedition in the Baltic Sea in 2011, Swedish divers detected something unusual in the depths, a massive circular structure resting on the seabed. As they approached, their equipment began to fail, only to resume working when they swam away. The object, with contours resembling a disc, remains unidentified. No analysis has been able to determine its origin, and without further funding, the mystery remains trapped beneath the icy waters of the Baltic. Amid World War II, 2 African-American soldiers were photographed posing with artillery shells, marked with the phrase, "Easter eggs for Hitler." The image, taken in the 1940s, reflected the courage and defiance of black troops who fought overseas while still facing segregation at home. The symbolic gesture combined faith and resistance, turning ammunition into a message against both the Nazi regime and the discrimination they endured in their own country. After receiving an electric shock of 14,000 volts, an electrician survived one of the most astonishing accidents ever recorded. The current traveled through his body and left star-shaped marks in his irises, caused by the rupture of tiny blood vessels in his eyes. Despite the intensity of the shock, he recovered without losing his vision. The case was documented by physicians as a rare example of how electricity can unexpectedly reshape the human body. The reshot structure is a circular formation in the desert of Mauritania that locals call the Eye of the Sahara. Visible from space, scientists remain intrigued by its origin. Many once thought it was an impact crater, but current speculation points to a deeply eroded geological dome. Still, can erosion alone create such perfect symmetry? In Sylacauga, Alabama, Ann Hodges was resting on her couch when a meteorite pierced the roof, hit the wall, and struck her hip. She became the first person in history to be injured by a space rock. Her image appeared in newspapers around the world, but the sudden fame brought conflict and strain. The extraordinary event marked her forever, a reminder that even the sky can strike unexpectedly. In Great Britain in 1938, amid fears of chemical attacks, inventors created an unusual form of child protection, the gas-proof baby carriage. Modeled after an ordinary stroller, the device completely sealed the infant inside a capsule with a viewing window and an air filtration system made of asbestos. The baby breathed purified air while the world prepared for war. Ingenious yet disturbing, the prototype now evokes an almost dystopian vision of that era. Over the icy skies of the polar regions, iridescent clouds known as nacreous clouds paint the horizon with hues of pink, blue, and green. Formed at extremely high altitudes between 15 and 25 kilometers, they appear when ice crystals reflect and refract sunlight at precise angles. Despite their mesmerizing beauty, these rare formations are linked to ozone layer destruction, making them both a captivating and troubling natural phenomenon. In a photograph from the early 20th century, a man with severe bodily deformities poses beside two individuals who appear to be displaying him for the camera. Such portraits were common in Europe at the time, when people with rare genetic conditions were exhibited in circuses and sideshows. The man's identity remains unknown, but the image exposes a past in which physical difference was treated as spectacle rather than humanity. While walking with his family in an English field, Jim Templeton took a simple picture of his daughter, noticing nothing unusual. Yet, when the film was developed, the silhouette of a tall figure dressed in white, resembling an astronaut, appeared behind her. No one else was present, and analyses found no signs of manipulation. Captured in 1964, the photo remains one of the most discussed photographic mysteries of the 20th century. High in the hills above Cusco, Peru, rise the colossal walls of Sacsayhuaman, a fortress built by the Incas with perfectly interlocking stone blocks. Some of the rocks, weighing more than 100 tons, were carved and fitted so precisely that not even a blade can fit between them. The construction method remains unknown, as no iron tools existed at the time. To this day, Sacsayhuaman defies explanation and stands as a marvel of ancient engineering. Taken in 1826 by Joseph Nicephore Niepce, this is considered the world's oldest photograph. Captured from the window of his home in Saint-Lô-de-Varennes, France, it shows rooftops and a courtyard illuminated by sunlight. Niepce used a metal plate coated with bitumen and required 8 hours of exposure to record the scene. The experiment marked the birth of photography, forever changing how humanity captures time and memory. Recorded in 1838 by Louis Daguerre, the image of Boulevard du Temple in Paris is considered the oldest photograph to depict a living person. Due to the long exposure time, moving carriages and pedestrians disappeared. Yet one man, stopped to have his boots shined, remained visible. The scene, frozen through the daguerreotype, immortalized an ordinary moment that became a milestone in the early evolution of modern photography. October 1839, American photographer Robert Cornelius produced what is regarded as the first photographic self-portrait in history. He positioned his camera in a Philadelphia courtyard and, because of the long exposure required by daguerreotypes, had to remain perfectly still for several minutes. The result, slightly blurred yet striking, captured not only his face, but also the dawn of personal photography. Former American President John Quincy Adams was portrayed in a Washington studio by Philip Haas, who used the daguerreotype technique to record his image. The portrait, taken in March 1843, years after Adams had left office, is considered one of the earliest photographs of a United States leader. In the image, he appears with a firm gaze and austere expression, reflecting the dignity of a 19th-century statesman. On the fields of Antietam, Maryland, one of the bloodiest battles of the American Civil War left thousands dead in only a few hours. The photograph shows fallen Confederate soldiers after the combat in September 1862. The images of that battle shocked the public by revealing war's grim reality for the first time, turning photography into a powerful witness to the nation's history. On St. Maur Street in Paris, piles of furniture and rubble were hastily stacked by workers in revolt. The photograph, taken on June 25, 1848, documents the June Days Uprising, when laborers protested the government's decision to end public works programs that provided their livelihood. The clash lasted only a few days, but left thousands dead, marking the start of a new era of social unrest in France. Amid the monumental columns of the Temple of Zeus in Athens, one of the earliest known photographs captured the ruins under the 19th century sun. Taken in 1842, it shows the sanctuary built in the 5th century before Christ, dedicated to the supreme god of Greek mythology. Such sites were favorite subjects of photography pioneers seeking to preserve ancient history. Today, these images serve as visual testimony to the transformations time imposed upon humanity's greatest monuments.